Hello, everybody. Today I am being lazy and I am sitting on my sofa as usual. And while my little one is playing down there making the noise, she's not actually too bad at the moment. I'm going to be doing the controversial parent tag. So, while she's eating her toys, I've decided to do this tag because I've noticed a lot of people on YouTube and other places I've noticed have done it, and I thought this might be quite interesting to do. And you know what I'm like, I like to voice my opinions on things. So here we go. First question, pro life or pro choice? Right, personally, I'm into pro choice. I think personally, as I say, this is my own opinion, so that's it. I go with pro choice because you don't understand anybody's circumstances, as in it's up to them what they do because you don't know how they got into that situation. Maybe it's the wrong time, maybe they got attacked and raped and that's why, or it could be just that they're just different kids. But I think everyone should have a choice, and it's the woman's body and all that. So that's what I think on that subject. Next one, baby wearing. Well, I must admit, I am a very big fan of baby wearing. I don't see the harm of baby wearing. In fact, I see all the good side to baby wearing. In fact, I go to the local swing sling. So it's not just me and my daughter bonding together, it's me getting exercise as well as having her sleeping. It's a good excuse to get your baby to sleep as well if you're lucky. Um, I think it's got me and my daughter closer, considering we had a really bad start of her life. Uh, Worst couple of months actually, come to think of it. But baby wearing helped me bond with her much better and made her more secure, I think. And that's why she's not so very not attached as I would say, but more she's more independent, I would say as well. So I'm all for baby wearing. If you can baby wear, fantastic. I had to wait 3 months to even wear uh, a sling, and then I found that slings weren't really my cup of tea because every time I put one on, it felt different. It feels so right. And then I went to a sling library where I tried a carrier, and it was fantastic. Um, at the uh, but that was way before she was in a harness because she had development hip dysplasia. So the carrier, which was Sleeping Eco, what I've got, custom made one. She now has that all the time, but before that, I bought a Maduka, and that seemed to really help, especially with the Otterblock harness that she had. It was easier to put on, it was comfortable for her and comfortable for me, so it didn't stop me baby wearing when she had the harness on. So I'm all for baby wearing. I can understand why some people don't because they think the backs hurt and it's just not for them. But in some situations it's been the only thing I could wear, especially if it's busy going out to like food and drink festivals and all that jazz around here. Then it's one of the best things to do. Next one is circumcision. Now, I know in some religions it is vital that they have this done. Sometimes you medically have to have it done because it's just very tight and it cuts off circulation and things. Fair enough for that. Personally, I wouldn't put my son through that if I had a son. I personally wouldn't do that because it's not my choice, it's up to them. If they want to get that removed when they're older or anything. But if it was medically removed, fair enough. But I don't see the point of it. I just think it's a bit torturous myself. But that's my personal opinion on it. I don't agree with it whatsoever. Adoption. Now, does this mean adopting or putting your baby up for adoption? Like I said before about the pro choice, it's a thin line, really. People's circumstances, people being in abusive relationships, for instance, don't want to bring a baby into a family like that and think it's the better off with a different family. And like you say, you don't know if you think your child's going to have a better life somewhere else, and you know you can't bring that child up, but you've had to go along with the pregnancy due to religious reasons or family reasons, anything like that. Um, you can't judge people on anything like that unless you've been in that situation, which thankfully I haven't had to be in that situation. But I am all for people adopting, definitely, especially people who haven't been able to have children or they want to give something back and want to make an impact on a child's life, because it's a big, big commitment as having your own child. I think it's very heroic of people to do that. Baby piercing. Oh, no. Big, fat, juicy no. Now, being a mother myself with various piercings and things like that, I am totally against babies having their ears pierced. It's abuse in my eyes. Back when I was born in the 80s, it was the thing to do. Wasn't frowned upon, anything like that. But I certainly won't be getting hers done at all. In fact, no, I won't, dear. No, I won't. No. She's looking at me now. She won't be getting her ears pierced. The only way she's going to get her ears pierced if she asks nicely, and she's over the age of 10. I had to wait till I was over 10, and I'm glad that my mum didn't give in and let me get it done whenever, and I'm so glad for that now. Um, I'm just totally against it. I hate it. In fact, seeing kids like that, I just feel so sorry for them. Yes, it's best to get it the pain over and done with. Yada yada yada. No, it's like headbands. It's all for accessories of the parent or something. How is the child benefiting from having holes in their ears or having a headband on the head? That's a different matter. Totally different matter. But like I said before, if she wants to have her ears pierced, she will have to ask her dad lots of times and me, and then wait till she's over 10, and then we consider it. Until she's 16 or even 18, she won't be doing anything without our permission. Well, not to our knowledge anyway, but it's a big fat no. Just no, 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 no. Oh, this is a controversial one. Are you ready for this? Breast milk versus formula. Jesus Christ. I say both, personally. If you can breastfeed, well done. Uh, Fantastic start to life. Antibodies, all of that jazz. Um, if you can't, because there's a medical reasons you don't want to, um, the milk's not coming. I think personally, I know from personal experience that formula has actually saved my baby's life. She had to have some formula at first, and then the whole breastfeeding, and then never-ending cycle. Um, but I am totally for both. And the thing that winds me up something rotten is these groups that you get everywhere. You mention one thing and you're all like, "Oh, breast is best. You can bring milk in. It's all this and that. It's all everyone could do it. Everyone could this. Let me tell you something now. Not everybody can do it, and it's belittling the people that can't, and it's upsetting mothers to make them feel like they're not 100% mother or the best mother that they can be. And in some way, you can get it exactly the same way, but when you're on like social media for a start and you're reading up on both, because some people do both, some people can't be feed, um, which is totally up to them. And I appreciate and respect both sides of the argument, but I don't understand why there is that side where there's, for instance, I'm probably going to get shouted at or abused for this, but for instance, like Milk Meg, for instance, she's all about, breastfeeding, all this and that, fantastic. But then you get the people that follow her who go on to these other groups, for instance, like Skeptic OB, for instance, which I found out about, going onto those forums, and there's skeptical going over to Milk Meg and clashing like that. And it's just like, look, right, stop shaming on how you feed your baby. Your baby's fed. In fact, I'm pro fed is best, because it doesn't matter if your child is fed by tube, by your boob, or by bottle. As long as they're getting the feed, and as long as they are, growing, strong, healthy, it shouldn't matter. And it really winds me up when you go to these nurseries or schools or anything, and you're going to line these children up and go, right, well, that one was bottle fed and that one was breastfed. You don't tell the difference. Does it really matter? I just can't believe in this day and age we're having the problems. People getting abused for breastfeeding in public. People getting abused for feeding the child a bottle in public and having them say, that better be breast milk. And it's nobody's business. And it wouldn't be such a big deal if it wasn't shoved upon us as mothers, as young mothers, or old mothers, or first time mothers, or mothers in general. Because it's shoved upon you, and it should be up to you personally and up to that child how you feed them, whichever is comfortable for you all. And that's what I think on the matter. Let's go on to the next question. Spanking, right? Okay. Um, Personally, there is a line between spanking and abuse, etc. I think personally, it didn't do me any harm having a tap on the hand, or a smack of the bottom for doing something wrong, and I totally agree with that, because how are you going to set boundaries for your children if you let them get away with everything? Sometimes the naughty step doesn't do it, and I've seen, well, not recently, but I have seen since becoming a mother different generations of how people have grown up. Like, you've got people of my age who are very well respecting elders and manners and all that, and then you get people my age as well who don't, on the vice versa. But now, because of this whole you can't touch your child or you can't spank your child because that'll be known as abuse, they get away with everything. You get more crime rates of young teens and children, and it's all on the news. Maybe it's all bull, I don't know, but I have seen, like, you're holding a door for someone, or you're getting abused from a child, in fact, and you're just a bit like, where's your boundaries, love? What's your kids doing? Exactly. And she totally agrees with me on that one. Next question. Co-sleeping. Now, I found out there's a total difference between co-sleeping and bed sharing. They're not the same thing. Not at all. In fact, co-sleeping, for instance, is when you attach a bed or a cot to your side of your own bed, like these next to me cribs and things like that. I totally agree with that, because in the first 6 months your child should be in the same room as you, because it knocks down the um, the risks of SEDS or SADS or SIDS, yeah, sudden death syndrome, yeah. Um, and you still all have that bond, and it's lovey-dovey and everything like that. And then you can start moving them into their own room, when baby's fine and you're fine. Sometimes the baby's actually you prepared longer than you were, like mine was. She was prepared to go into her own room before I was, and I just had to give in and actually let her go in her own room, and it was like one of the best nights because you flat out slept. Yes. Um, Bed sharing. I'm a bit iffy about bed sharing. Yes, I personally do snooze now and again on the bed with my daughter if we're tired and all that, but I make sure all the covers, the back, all the pillows are off, and I'm quite a light sleeper as well. And if I feel like I'm going into a deep sleep, that's when I will move. But some people actually do sleep with their children in their bed because they breastfeed and it's easier and things like that. But personally, I couldn't live with myself if something happened to her. If I fell asleep in a deep sleep and I rolled over on it, or my husband did, I just couldn't personally do it. But I am all for co-sleeping. It's just bed sharing I'm a bit iffy about, to be perfectly honest. Home versus public versus private schooling. I personally think uh, public schools are best for your children. Um, if you can't afford private, but I know that, some private schools, you get bullying everywhere, wherever you go. But I know my daughter will be going to a public school, and a mixing with different cultures, races, and sexes. Because I know in some places you will have where it's only girls' school or boys' school or Catholic school or anything like that. But seeing I'm not religious in any way, and my daughter's not christened or anything like that, she won't be going to a Catholic school. She'll be going to one where it's I don't even know Church of England either. I'd rather have her go to one where it was multicultural, so she gets the right way of learning about cultures and things, and not listening to people with views that, racist views or bigotry or anything like that. Because I want her to have an open, free mind about it. Um, Private school, I'm not too bothered about. Homeschooling, I don't think you should, because your child's not seeing the kids, and it's not about getting ill or anything like that and stopping them from getting ill for not going. But basically, if your child's not seeing other children, how are they going to help with their social skills? They need to socialise with children and babies their own age, so they get to know different traits and make friends. Because yes, it's all fair and well making friends with one person, with the parents and family members, but with people, I think your child needs the life experience. Because once they go out into the big wide world and get a job or go to university, it's going to be a big shock to them. You can't prepare a child for that. So I'm all for public schooling. Vaccinations, right. I am a big fan of vaccinations, because if vaccinations weren't around, your kids will be dead, probably, to be perfectly honest. I don't understand anti-vaxxers. I really don't. Oh, I don't want to give my child the MMR job because he might have autism. Personally, I'd rather have my child have autism than die. What's worse? Trust me. So my daughter, obviously, by my opinions on it, she's got to get fully vaccinated. She is already up to date with the vaccinations. Her next ones will be when she's 1. But exactly. But she's definitely going to have a vaccinations, as many as she can, really, because I don't want her to suffer with any bad illnesses or anything like that. If I can prevent it, then I will. Medicating children. Oh, this is a big topic, isn't it? If your child has been diagnosed with autism or ADD, high something deficit disorder. Oh, let me think about this one. Attention deficit disorder. Still got mummy brain. Hello, hello. Personally, the teachers at my old primary school thought I had ADD, and they wanted to put me on something, and my mum refused point blank, considering I'd just recently got my hearing back and I couldn't stop talking to people because all of a sudden I could hear people. So I'm glad my mother never actually listened to them. Uh, I think after a few tests, a lot of tests, because there's a thin line between your child being naughty and just being downright like silly and misbehaving, and then you get the point where they can't sit still. Now, I have seen both spectrums. I've seen quite less, quite severe ADD, and then I've seen quite mild as well. So, in some cases, I think all cases are individual. They should be seen by a paediatrician, a special paediatrician about it. Give it a low dose and see what they're like. Because I know some people have children with ADD and it's changed their lives. They can concentrate on the work, they're making friends, everything like that, instead of just being unbearable and not sitting still. And it must be horrible for them. So I think in some uh sometimes, yes, I would say yes, medicating your children with that sort of condition will help. Uh, but I don't, and it, like I say, it's a fine line because you get people saying my child's not sleeping. I'm gonna use Mediced. Thankfully, they've banned it now, or they've stopped making it. But from my line of work as well, I've seen people coming in just for that, and they say, "Right, is your child ill?" No, I just want them to sleep. That's not what it's for. It's to help your child get over whatever virus they've got. It's not to put your child to sleep so you get a better night. That, however, I totally disagree with. Cloth versus disposable nappies, right? Well, personally, I use disposable. I was thinking about doing cloth, but then I think with my lifestyle and things like that, because I'm always out and about and things, I go for the premium sensitive ones because she has bad skin conditions, don't you, darling? Yes. So I go with them because it's much easier for me. In some way, if I had more time and they were less dear, I would actually give them a try. Um, I wouldn't mind giving them a whirl at all. I don't mind that because you get disposable inliners, and if you do that, then good on you because you've got more time. Well, not more time, but you've you haven't got more time, but you're obviously more eco-friendly than I am, and I'd love to be like that, but I don't have the money to be able to buy 5 of this size nappy and then have it last about a month and then have to buy another 4, which cost me 85 quid every couple of months just for some nappies when I could buy of Pampers or something like that, and it's so much cheaper. Yes, I do feel bad that it takes about 6 years for them to disintegrate and things like that, but it's something unfortunately I'm willing to take on. But I do like some of the designs of the cloth diapers and things. If it wasn't so dear, buying the starter pack or a trial pack or something like that, then I would definitely give it a whirl. But until they're not that much, I'll be sticking with disposable. CIO method. Cry it out method. I totally disagree with it personally. If your child is crying, it's for a reason. It's like they need the nappy changing or they're hungry or they just want a bit of attention. You cannot give your child enough attention. I don't understand why people say that cry it out method. Oh, I just leave them to just cry it out and get used to it, and they'll settle themselves and yada yada yada. No, they're crying for a reason. They're obviously wanting social interaction or cuddles or feeling love because they feel vulnerable. So no, I'm totally against the crying out method. I just think it's no, just a big fat no. If you'd like me to do any more tags or want to hear my opinions or suggest any tag videos as such on which are now on YouTube, please comment in the section below and let me know, and then I can do one for you. Like I say, this is my own opinion, and please appreciate my opinion, and I will appreciate yours. But if you'd like to comment in the section below, then you're more than free to do so. So until next time, bye bye.